Okay, haven't played a game yet, month and a half away, but how do you feel about things with all the changes and all the things that you've done?
It's very interesting. We have a couple weeks left before we get back and get started, so a little bit in a mode of relaxation, but we have 65 new players, as you know, and the interesting part of it is 35 of them didn't get here until around June 1, with 18 of them being transfers, not high school players. So when you think about that, 14 of them could be playing in the first game, and we've never even seen them practice. I mean, the uncertainty and the unpredictability of college football just keeps going. And I had a couple questions today. People said, well, if you would have had a better year last year, you wouldn't have been in such a rebuilding stage. That's not necessarily true. What's happening with most of us, I can only speak for Oklahoma State, but I hear what other people say. At each position, everybody's trying to raise their talent level, just like they do in the NFL with free agency, right? Now, it doesn't mean you can financially or for whatever reason, but 65 and 35, you would think would go to maybe 40 and 15, but less than that per year, I don't think you're ever going to see it again unless the rules change, which I don't see that happening either. So I like the coaches. These guys are workers, they're grinders, they're very aggressive recruiters. We had a terrific coaching staff for a long time at Oklahoma State. I decided to make coordinator changes. Coordinator changes mean staff changes. Coach Grantham comes in, and with his guys, he brings 8 people with him. Most coordinators that have experience aren't coming by themselves anymore. You know, Jim Knowles, I brought him in here, 6-7 years ago, by himself. It doesn't happen anymore. So, unfortunately, a lot of good coaches lost their job coaching Oklahoma State because of the trend with coordinators. But these guys are settled in now. The players seem to be getting to know each other. It's a real challenge. But it'll be interesting in August. We've got, we get about 3 weeks to get ready to play the first game with potentially 12 or 14 guys that have never practiced that should be playing in the first game.
You mentioned all the new players getting to know each other. Team chemistry is always, it doesn't matter what program you're talking about, but especially in your program, when you've had the great team chemistry, you've usually had a really, really good year. Is there any way that you can accelerate that, or does it just have to happen naturally?
Well, we're trying. I talked to him a couple of weeks ago, and I said, guys, what's the common denominator with the Thunder? Everybody talks about they like each other. It's a college atmosphere. The players are unselfish. They pass the ball. There's nobody complaining about how much money they're making. And I said, you're in college. This is what we're looking for. So the culture side of it, which in the past years at Oklahoma State has been carried over in the offseason, has to be established in August. I don't know that you can ever establish a culture and you don't really know who your key guys are on your team, because in most cases they become your leaders, and not all of that has been decided with our football team at this time.
Is that unsettling, or do you still feel confident?
No, I mean, I'm confident. I believe in what's happening. I'm watching it, but it is unsettling. Normally, when I went on vacation in July, I knew who's going to play. We don't really know who's going to play. So we're going to have to trust we have a good August.
So with that said, the expectations that you go into each season with, I mean, what can those be right now, overall?
So I think that we have good players. I feel like our coaches know what they're doing, and that we have very high expectations. I have very high expectations for our team. I don't know what's out there nationally, but you know me, I don't care. I feel pretty good about where we're at with our players. I feel pretty good about where we're at with our coaches and our fans. We're getting close to selling out. That support will be important. We've had tremendous fan support the last few years, particularly, and it helps in a big way. So I think once we tie all that together, I think we'll be just fine.
Last thing, Commissioner Yormark said yesterday that he believes this will be the deepest league in the country. It could be, right? I mean, but how do you know? Yeah.
I would agree with that. We have 16 teams now, right? And we've got still the excitement of new teams. I think that draws interest across the country. People like new stuff. And it'll be competitive. When you talk to the coaches in the Big 12, when we're in Orlando a few weeks ago at the meetings and we're down there BSing, pretty much all of them will tell you, I don't know who can beat who. And then you bring in the transfer portal, and it creates even more uncertainty on who actually the best teams are. Now, I would say that teams that return veteran quarterbacks probably have an advantage. But long story short, Commissioner Yormark's got it figured out. We just have to keep building this league on what his goals are. They called us off.